Your car didn't move, but the battery still dropped. That is not normal usage. That is silent energy loss happening while it sits. Ignore this, and you are stacking daily wear that slowly turns into thousands of dollars in lost battery life. And one of these mistakes happens every single night. If you want to avoid these hidden battery mistakes, keep watching. Mistake 1. Scheduled departure misuse. Stop letting your Tesla sit at a high charge level for hours before you leave. Most owners assume scheduled departure automatically protects the battery. It does not, especially when it is set without understanding how charging actually completes. Here is what actually happens. The car often reaches your set charge level in the middle of the night, sometimes hours before you plan to drive. From that point on, the battery just sits there at a high percentage. No movement, no usage. But internally, it is held at peak voltage the entire time. That is where the problem begins. High charge levels create more stress inside lithium cells, especially when the car is not actively using that energy. It is not about one night, it is about repeating this every day. You can see this clearly in your energy graph. A flat line sitting at 80 or 90% for hours is not passive, it is prolonged exposure to a high-stress state. Tesla's own documentation confirms that battery health depends heavily on how you charge and use the vehicle. Change this by scheduling charging to finish closer to your actual departure time, not hours before. If you do not need the extra range, lower your daily limit. The result is simple. Less time at high voltage means less internal stress. Over time, this small adjustment helps preserve usable capacity and keeps your battery behavior more stable year after year. Mistake 2. Cabin overheat protection. Overuse. Turn off cabin overheat protection unless you truly need it. Many owners leave it on all summer, assuming it protects the car without any cost. It does not. Here is what actually happens. In high heat, the air conditioning keeps cycling while the car is parked. That keeps the battery and cooling system active for hours instead of letting them rest. You will not see a warning. The car just keeps managing heat in the background. This adds up quickly in hot regions, where repeated cooling cycles increase overall thermal load on the battery. Change this by using it only when necessary or parking in shade when possible. The result is less heat exposure and fewer unnecessary cooling cycles. Over time, reducing this daily thermal stress helps the battery age more gradually instead of being pushed every day. Mistake 3. Third-party fast charging overuse. Limit how often you rely on non-Tesla fast charging stations. Most owners assume all fast chargers treat the battery the same. They do not. Here is what actually happens. Tesla superchargers are tightly integrated with the car's battery and temperature system. Charging speed and heat are managed in real time. Third-party stations do not always match that level of coordination. That means the battery can receive high power before it is in the ideal temperature range. You will not see a warning, but the stress is still there during the session. This matters more if you use these chargers frequently, especially for daily charging. Change this by using Tesla superchargers when possible and relying on slower charging for regular use. The result is more stable charging behavior and better temperature control. Over time, consistent charging under controlled conditions reduces unnecessary stress compared to repeated high-power sessions. Mistake 4. Ignoring the 12-volt battery. Replace your 12-volt battery before it becomes weak. Most owners ignore it because it seems unrelated to the main battery. It is not. Here is what actually happens. The 12-volt battery powers the car's basic systems. When it starts to degrade, the system has to rely more on the main high-voltage battery to keep everything stable. That creates small, constant energy draws in the background. You will not notice this directly. There is usually no clear warning until the 12-volt battery is close to failure. That steady support load keeps the system more active than it should be while the car is parked. Change this by replacing the 12-volt battery on time instead of waiting for it to fail. The result is a stable electrical system with less unnecessary load on the main battery. Over time, avoiding these hidden background drains helps reduce unnecessary strain on the high-voltage battery and keeps overall battery behavior more consistent. If this is new to you, you are not alone. Keep going. The next ones matter more. Mistake 5. Hard driving before the battery warms up. Avoid strong regenerative braking or hard acceleration when the battery is cold. Many owners assume the car fully protects itself in these conditions. It helps, but it is not a complete shield. Here is what actually happens. When the battery is cold, energy does not move as smoothly inside the cells. The system limits regenerative braking, which is why you see that dotted line on the energy bar. But if you push the car early, fast acceleration, or aggressive driving, you still add stress while the battery is not ready. You can see this clearly. That dotted regenerative line is the car telling you the battery is still warming up. Change this by driving gently for the first few minutes, or using preconditioning before you start. The result is smoother energy flow and better efficiency during the drive. Over time, letting the battery warm up before heavy use reduces unnecessary strain during cold starts and helps keep performance more stable across seasons. Mistake 6. Constantly changing charge limits. Keep your daily charge limit consistent. Many owners keep switching between 60, 80, and 100% depending on the day. It feels flexible and harmless, but it slowly works against how the system is designed to manage the battery. Here is what actually happens. The battery management system depends on stable charging patterns to track how each cell is behaving. It uses that consistency to balance energy across the pack and maintain accuracy. Most of that balancing happens near the top of the charge range, where the system can clearly compare cell behavior. When the charge limit keeps changing, that process becomes inconsistent. The system loses a stable reference point. It still works, but not as precisely as it should. Nothing looks wrong on the screen. You will not see an alert. The car may still show everything as normal. But small differences between cells can slowly build over time, and those differences are not always visible in daily use. Practical battery care guidance also points out that consistent charging habits and avoiding unnecessary extremes help maintain long-term battery stability. Change this by setting a steady daily charge level, usually around 70 to 80%, and keeping it there for regular use. Only increase it when you actually need extra range. The result is more stable battery readings and smoother overall performance. Over time, that consistency helps the system manage the pack more accurately and reduces the chance of uneven behavior developing across cells. Mistake 7. Third-party apps constantly waking the car. Stop apps from waking your Tesla every few minutes. Most owners think these apps are just reading data quietly in the background. They are not. Here is what actually happens. Every time an app checks your car, it wakes the system from sleep. That means the car powers up, runs background processes, and stays active longer than it should. Instead of resting, it keeps cycling on and off throughout the day. You will notice this as unexpected battery drop while the car is parked. That is often called phantom drain. This is not one big loss. It is many small wake cycles, adding up over time. Change this by reducing how often these apps check your car, or turning off the ones you do not really use. The result is proper sleep behavior and lower background energy use. Over time, fewer wake cycles mean less unnecessary system activity, which helps the battery maintain more stable behavior during long parking periods. Final thought. How your Tesla actually ages. Control what your Tesla does when it is not moving. That is where most long-term battery behavior is shaped. Driving matters less than people think. Charging patterns, idle time, heat exposure, and sleep cycles matter more. These are the quiet factors that decide how the battery holds up over years, not days. Nothing here is extreme. It is not about perfection. It is about removing small, repeated habits that add unnecessary stress over time. When you manage how your car charges, rests, and stays inactive, the system works with you instead of against you. That is the difference between a battery that slowly drifts and one that stays consistent. If you want clear, practical Tesla habits that actually protect your battery over time, stay with this.